Okay, so you send over a ton of notes and teachings from this Maestro Kryon guy.
Yeah.
It seems like you're really trying to figure out how to navigate these crazy times,
Mm-hmm.
and you're particularly interested in what this Kryon has to say about it.
Yes, that's right.
104 talks. 104.
It's quite a collection.
So we've got our work cut out for us. Now, you mentioned something about preventative measures he recommends.
Yes, you are interested in specific advice Maestro Kryon gave during these talks.
Right, like practical tips and tricks to help us stay grounded amidst all the chaos.
Exactly.
Now, before we dive into those,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned this Kryon character was part of some spiritual school.
That's right.
What's the deal with that?
Well, from what we're seeing, Maestro Kryon was a prominent figure in a spiritual school called LEMDU,
LEMDU.
which focuses on knowledge gifts service and something they call unification consciousness.
Okay.
They even refer to his talks as cathedras, which implies a formal teaching role.
Unification consciousness catedras. Sounds pretty high level.
It does.
Okay, so imagine we've got a stack of notes from one of his lectures, and we're going to pull out the most interesting bits, ready to deep dive into Maestro Kryon's wisdom.
Let's do it.
All right, the first thing that caught my eye in your notes is this concept of the electromagnetic grid. What is that all about?
It's fascinating, actually. Kryon is referred to as the electromagnetic master of the universe.
Whoa.
So this concept is central to his teachings. He suggests visualizing the electromagnetic grid as a personal force field
Yeah.
that protects us from negative energy.
So like an invisible shield against all the bad vibes out there.
You could say that.
I'm liking this already.
Yeah.
But how do we actually strengthen this grid? Is it something we can really influence?
According to Kryon, we can strengthen our connection to the grid through visualization and meditation.
Okay.
It's about consciously tapping into and aligning ourselves with this universal energy field. He even says that each of us can visualize the grid as a lattice work of glowing energy, surrounding us and connecting us to everything around us.
Wow, that's a pretty vivid image.
It is.
So it's about intentionally aligning ourselves with a positive frequency.
Got it.
Now tell me, how does this grid idea relate to something else you mentioned, living in the now?
Okay.
It feels like we're jumping between totally different concepts here.
That's a great observation. Kryon seems to link our present moment awareness to our electromagnetic energy.
Okay.
He suggests that when we dwell on the past or worry about the future, we weaken our connection to the grid and become more susceptible to negativity.
Okay.
But when we're fully present, we tap into a stronger, more stable energy field.
So it's like being present allows us to more effectively connect to and strengthen that protective grid. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, let's move on to the next preventative measure. What else did Maestro Kryon recommend?
Embracing change is a big one.
Okay.
He saw resistance to change as futile and believed it only intensifies our difficulties. Instead, he encourages us to accept the inevitable changes happening on Earth and learn to adapt to new circumstances. That reminds me of the saying, what you resist persists. It's like trying to swim against a strong current. You'll just wear yourself out.
Yeah.
Better to go with the flow and see where it takes you, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of going with the flow, the next measure Kryon suggests is connecting with what he calls the Christ consciousness.
Yes.
See, now we're getting into some deep spiritual territory.
Right.
What exactly is Christ consciousness? I'm picturing robes and sandals.
It's not quite that literal. Essentially, it's about accessing the unconditional love and divinity within ourselves. It's about embodying qualities like compassion, forgiveness, and unity.
Okay.
Seeing the divine spark in ourselves and in everyone around us.
So not just meditating on a mountaintop, but bringing that higher consciousness into our daily lives.
Exactly. And Kryon doesn't just leave us hanging with this concept.
Right.
He offers a way to tap into this Christ consciousness more readily. He says it all starts with intention.
Okay.
Consciously choosing love over fear in every situation.
Makes sense. So choosing certainty over fear, even when things feel chaotic.
Exactly. Kryon believed that by focusing on our inner strength and choosing love, we raise our personal vibration and create a powerful shield against negativity. He actually goes a step further and urges us to detach from the collective fear that's so prevalent in the world.
Detach from fear. I'm not sure I understand. Does he mean we should just pretend everything is fine?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's not about denial,
Right.
but about recognizing that fear is often based on illusion, on stories we tell ourselves about what might happen.
Right.
It's about choosing a higher frequency,
Okay.
a frequency of love, courage, and trust.
Okay, that makes more sense. So it's not about ignoring fear, but about choosing a more empowered perspective.
Precisely.
Okay. And speaking of empowering perspectives, Kryon also talks a lot about the importance of working on detachment.
Yes.
Detachment. Okay, this sounds a bit intense. Is he talking about becoming emotionless robots?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's more about releasing attachment to material possessions and emotional patterns that hinder our spiritual growth. He makes it very clear that it's not about losing our personality or becoming aloof, but rather about freeing ourselves from things that weigh us down and keep us stuck.
That's a good distinction.
Yes.
It's about discerning what truly serves us and what's just baggage.
Exactly. It's about lightening our load so we can move through life with greater freedom and clarity.
Nice. That's starting to make more sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about denying our emotions or becoming hermits, but about choosing freedom over clinging to things that no longer serve us. It's about creating space for something new to emerge.
Yes.
What other preventative measures did Maestro Kryon suggest?
Well, this one might sound familiar: visualization and meditation.
Right.
He highlights these practices as tools for connecting with our divine essence, strengthening that electromagnetic grid we talked about, and manifesting our desires.
Ah, the classic visualization and meditation combo. It's like giving our intentions an extra boost, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's about aligning our thoughts, emotions, and energy with what we want to create in our lives. And Kryon believed that consistent practice is key. It's about making these practices a regular part of our lives,
Right.
not just something we do when we're feeling stressed or desperate.
Right. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
What else did Maestro Kryon recommend for staying grounded and centered during these changing times?
He talked about acting from the heart, about bringing intention infused with unconditional love into everything we do.
Okay.
He believes this is how we contribute to positive change.
That ties back to the Christ consciousness, a reminder that love is the driving force.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here, connecting with our inner divinity, choosing love over fear, and taking responsibility for our energy. What else did Maestro Kryon emphasize?
He emphasized the importance of strengthening our connection to our inner divinity.
Okay.
He believed that this inner strengthening was crucial for navigating the new era with love and resilience.
So even more inner work. It seems like meditation is a key theme in his teachings.
Absolutely. He also suggests things like prayer, connecting with our inner wisdom, and recognizing the divine spark within ourselves. He believed these practices could cultivate inner strength and resilience.
Okay, so building a strong inner foundation makes sense. What other preventative measures did he suggest?
He talks about the importance of heart connection, really opening to unconditional love and remembering our shared humanity.
Okay, so more heart-centered living. But what does he actually mean by heart connection?
It's about moving beyond the ego and connecting with others from a place of genuine love and compassion. He believed that if enough of us could open our hearts in this way, we could create a critical mass that would shift the entire planet towards a more positive future.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. So it's not just about our own personal well-being, but about contributing to the collective good.
Exactly. He saw a clear link between personal transformation and global impact.
I love that idea. All right, what else did Maestro Kryon recommend?
He stressed the importance of unity and teamwork, encouraging us to join together, share knowledge, support each other, and activate our collective potential.
It's like the power of the collective. Think about what ants can achieve together when they work as a team. Individually, they're tiny, but together they can build incredible structures and overcome huge obstacles.
Exactly. Kryon believed that we're far more powerful when we work together than when we try to go it alone.
Okay, what else did Maestro Kryon advise?
He reiterated the importance of flexibility and detachment, reminding us to accept the inevitability of change and be willing to let go of outdated beliefs and ideologies.
Right. It's about recognizing that change is constant and that clinging to old ways of thinking will only hold us back.
Change can be scary, but perhaps it's also an invitation to let go of ways of thinking that no longer serve us.
I like that perspective. What other preventative measures did Maestro Kryon suggest?
He also highlighted the importance of personal responsibility.
No more playing the blame game.
Right.
It's empowering to remember we have a choice.
Precisely, Kryon encourages us to own our actions and decisions, recognizing that we have the power to influence and adapt to change.
So stepping into our power as conscious creators. What else?
He also reminded us to trust the process, believing that the changes unfolding are part of a divine plan leading towards a greater purpose.
That's a good reminder, especially when things feel chaotic. Trusting that there's a bigger picture unfolding even if we can't see it yet.
Exactly. And that trust requires us to let go of the need to control everything, to surrender to something larger than ourselves.
Surrender, huh? That's a tough one for a lot of us. Okay, what other preventative measures did Maestro Kryon offer?
He talked about caring for our physical bodies.
Makes sense. You can't run a marathon on junk food and no sleep. So what did he suggest?
He recommended a healthy diet, regular exercise, and meditation to help our bodies adapt to the new, higher frequency energies entering the planet.
Interesting. So nourishing ourselves on all levels, physical, mental, and spiritual. It's like that saying, you
Wow.
can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. We need to take care of ourselves so we can show up fully for the challenges and opportunities ahead.
Self-care is essential.
Yeah.
Okay, what else did Maestro Kryon suggest?
He also mentioned using tools.
Ooh, like crystals and sage.
He specifically mentioned crystals and magnets as tools for grounding energy and releasing what no longer serves us.
Crystals and magnets, huh? I'm intrigued. How do they work exactly?
This transcript doesn't delve into the specifics of how to use them, but it's clear that Kryon saw them as valuable tools for supporting our energetic well-being.
Interesting. I'd love to learn more about that. Okay, what else did Maestro Kryon recommend for navigating these wild times?
He emphasized the importance of connecting with nature.
Ah, good old Mother Nature. There's definitely something grounding and restorative about spending time outdoors.
Absolutely. Kryon believed that by spending time in nature, we can tap into its wisdom and energy. He encouraged us to work in harmony with the elements, recognizing that they too are awakening for a higher purpose.
So it's about more than just enjoying the scenery. It's about tapping into nature's deeper intelligence and energy.
Exactly. He believed that nature is a powerful teacher, offering us guidance, support, and a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm.
Okay, what else did Maestro Kryon recommend for navigating these changing times?
He also highlighted the importance of connecting with our higher selves.
So going inward and tapping into our inner wisdom. It's like having an internal GPS system that's always guiding us towards our highest path. But sometimes that inner voice can be hard to hear, especially with all the noise and distractions of modern life. Did Kryon offer any tips on how to strengthen that connection?
He emphasized the importance of creating space for silence and stillness in our lives. He believed that by quieting the mind, we create the space for our inner wisdom to emerge.
So carving out time for meditation, reflection, and simply being present with ourselves, it's like hitting the pause button on the constant chatter of the mind and allowing our deeper knowing to surface.
Precisely. And he also recommended connecting with nature as a way to tap into that deeper wisdom. He believed that the natural world is a powerful teacher, offering us guidance, support, and a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves.
It's like nature is a mirror, reflecting back to us our own true nature.
I love that. He also emphasized the importance of releasing fear and limiting beliefs.
Ah, letting go of the things that hold us back. Easier said than done right.
Yeah.
Did he offer any guidance on how to do that?
He encouraged us to identify and honestly face our fears and limiting beliefs and then to consciously choose to release them. He believed that true freedom comes from letting go of what no longer aligns with our highest good.
So it's a process of self-awareness, courage, and conscious choice.
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's recap for a minute. We've talked about strengthening our connection to the electromagnetic grid, living in the now, embracing change, connecting with the Christus, consciousness, choosing certainty over fear, working on detachment using visualization and meditation, acting from the heart, strengthening our connection to our inner divinity, opening our hearts to unconditional love, fostering unity and teamwork, accepting the inevitability of change, taking personal responsibility, trusting the process, caring for our physical bodies, using tools like crystals and magnets, connecting with nature, and connecting with our higher selves. That's a lot. But there's one more preventative measure that stands out to me, and it seems particularly relevant in today's world, focusing on certainty rather than fear.
That's a great point. With so much fear and anxiety swirling around, it's easy to get swept up in the collective frenzy. But Kryon urges us to resist that pull and focus on our inner strength and certainty.
So building an inner fortress of peace and stability, even amidst the chaos, I like that. But how do we cultivate that sense of certainty, especially when things feel so uncertain all around us?
Kryon offers a few suggestions. He suggests we focus on our inner strength and raise our vibration by focusing on love and light. He also encourages us to practice meditation, visualization, and connect with our higher self.
Right, those inner work practices we've been talking about. It's about strengthening our connection to that source of unwavering peace and knowing that resides within each of us.
Exactly. And he also emphasized the importance of living in the present moment. He believed that when we dwell on the past or worry about the future, we give our power away to fear. But when we're fully present, we step into our power and connect with the truth of who we are.
So being mindful, present, and engaged with the now.
Precisely.
Um,
And from that place of presence, we can access our intuition, our inner compass, and make choices that are aligned with our highest good.
That's powerful. So cultivating that inner sense of knowing, that unshakable certainty that comes from being connected to our true selves. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's still so much to explore. Kryon's teachings are full of wisdom and practical advice for navigating these times. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve deeper into some of the specific practices he recommends for strengthening our connection to our inner divinity, cultivating a heart-centered life, and embracing the power of unity and teamwork.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the importance of focusing on certainty over fear. It's so easy to get caught up in the collective anxiety these days.
It's true. Sometimes it feels like everywhere you turn, there's another reason to worry.
Kryon acknowledged that fear is a powerful force, but he believed we have the power to choose a different path, a path of love, courage, and trust. He reminds us that fear is often based on illusion, on stories we tell ourselves about what might happen.
So it's about recognizing that fear is often a product of our own minds, not necessarily a reflection of reality.
Exactly. And Kryon suggests that one of the most powerful ways to transcend fear is to connect with our higher selves, that wise, loving, and eternal part of ourselves that is always connected to source energy.
Ah, yes. We talked about connecting with our higher selves before the break. It's like tapping into our inner GPS, that guidance system that's always pointing us in the right direction. But how do we actually strengthen that connection? It can be tough to hear that inner voice sometimes.
Kryon believed that meditation is one of the most effective ways to quiet the mind and create space for our inner wisdom to emerge.
So creating a sanctuary of stillness amidst the chaos of daily life. Did he offer any specific meditation techniques?
He didn't go into specifics in the transcripts you shared, but he emphasized the importance of finding a practice that resonates with you. Whether it's guided meditation, mindfulness, or simply sitting in silence, the key is to make it a regular part of your life.
Right, consistency is key. And he also mentioned connecting with nature as a way to deepen that connection with our higher selves, right?
Absolutely. He believed that nature is a powerful mirror reflecting back to us our own true nature. He encouraged people to spend time outdoors, to connect with the earth, the trees, the water, to really immerse themselves in the beauty and wisdom of the natural world.
It's like nature is a portal to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. I love that imagery.
He also stressed the importance of releasing fear and limiting beliefs that prevent us from connecting with our higher selves.
It makes sense. If we're clinging to old patterns and negative beliefs, it's going to be tough to access that higher wisdom. But how do we actually let go of those things?
He encourages us to start by simply becoming aware of them. Notice when those negative thoughts and beliefs pop up, and then he says, make a conscious choice to release them. It's like choosing to step out of a dark room and into the sunlight.
So it's about making a conscious choice to shift our perspective, to focus on the positive rather than the negative.
Exactly. And he also reminds us that we don't have to do it alone. We can call upon our spiritual support team, our guides, angels, or whatever resonates with us to help us in this process.
Ah, yes. Tapping into the power of the unseen realm. That's a whole other deep dive. Okay, so we've talked about connecting with our higher selves. What about this Christ consciousness idea that we touched on earlier? How does that fit into all of this?
Kryon believed that connecting with the Christ consciousness is essential for navigating these times with grace and resilience. He saw it as a state of being, a way of perceiving the world that is rooted in unconditional love, compassion, and unity.
So it's not just about being a good person, but about cultivating a deep and abiding sense of love and connection with all beings.
Exactly. And he believed that this is not some unattainable state reserved for saints and mystics. It's something that's available to all of us right here, right now.
That's encouraging. But how do we actually access this Christ consciousness? It still feels kind of abstract.
Kryon suggests that it starts with intention. It's about making a conscious choice to embody those qualities of love, compassion, and forgiveness in our daily lives. It's about seeing the divine spark in ourselves and in everyone we encounter.
So it's about shifting our perspective, choosing love over fear, and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things.
Exactly. And he also believed that certain practices can help us cultivate this Christ consciousness. Things like meditation, prayer acts of service, and spending time in nature.
It sounds like a lot of inner work.
It is. But Kryon believed that it's the most important work we can do in these times. He saw it as the key to creating a more peaceful and harmonious world.
So it's not just about personal growth, but about contributing to the collective awakening.
Exactly. He believed that as more and more individuals awaken to their Christ consciousness, we create a ripple effect that can transform the entire planet.
Oh, that's powerful. It reminds me of the idea that we're all connected, that our individual thoughts, emotions, and actions have an impact on the collective.
Precisely. And Kryon believed that by consciously choosing love, By aligning ourselves with the forces of light, we can help tip the scales towards a more positive future.
So it's not just about sitting on a mountaintop meditating. It's about bringing that love and light into our everyday interactions, into our communities, into the world.
Exactly. It's about being the change we want to see in the world.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about connecting with our higher selves and cultivating Christ consciousness. What about this concept of the electromagnetic grid? How does that fit into all of this?
Remember how Kryon is referred to as the electromagnetic master of the universe?
I do.
Well, he believed that the electromagnetic grid is not just some abstract concept, it's a real tangible energy field that surrounds and connects us all.
So it's like an invisible web of energy that links everything together.
Exactly. And Kryon believed that this grid is being upgraded and recalibrated as we move into this new era. He said that these changes are affecting our physical bodies, our emotions, and even our consciousness.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
So how do we navigate these changes? What did Kryon recommend?
He emphasized the importance of strengthening our connection to the grid through practices like visualization and meditation. He encouraged people to visualize themselves surrounded by a luminous grid of energy connecting them to the earth and to the cosmos.
So it's about consciously tapping into and aligning ourselves with this higher frequency energy field.
Exactly. And he believed that this alignment could help us stay grounded, centered, and protected amidst the energetic shifts taking place.
That makes sense. It's like having an energetic shield to help us navigate these turbulent times.
Precisely. And he also believed that by strengthening our connection to the grid, we could help anchor these new energies into the planet, contributing to the collective awakening.
So it's not just about personal benefit, but about playing our part in the larger shift that's taking place.
Exactly. He saw it as a collaborative effort, a collective awakening that's happening on both an individual and a planetary level.
That's a powerful thought. So we're not just passive observers of this shift, but active participants.
Precisely. And Kryon believed that we have a choice. We can either resist these changes or we can embrace them and step into our power as conscious co-creators.
So it's about choosing to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Exactly. And Kryon offered many practical tools and techniques to help us do just that.
That's fantastic. Speaking of practical tools, he also mentioned the importance of unity and teamwork.
He did. Kryon firmly believed that we are stronger together than we are alone. He encouraged people to come together to share knowledge, to support each other, and to work collaboratively towards a common goal.
It's like that old saying, 2 heads are better than one, or in this case, maybe it's more like millions of hearts are better than one.
Exactly. He believed that when we unite our hearts and minds, we create a powerful force for positive change.
So it's not just about individual enlightenment, but about collective awakening.
Precisely. He saw a clear link between personal transformation and global transformation.
That's a beautiful vision. But with so much division and conflict in the world, it can be hard to imagine that kind of unity.
Kryon acknowledged that we face many challenges, but he believed that unity is not only possible, it's inevitable. He said that as we move deeper into this new era, we will be drawn together by a common purpose, a shared desire to create a better world for ourselves and for future generations.
So it's like there's a higher force, a cosmic magnetism drawing us towards unity.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about connecting with our higher selves, cultivating Christ, consciousness, strengthening our connection to the electromagnetic grid, and embracing unity and teamwork. What about this idea of working on detachment? We touched on it briefly earlier, but I'd love to explore it a little deeper.
Kryon believed that working on detachment is essential for spiritual growth and for navigating these changing times with grace and ease. But he wasn't talking about becoming aloof or emotionally detached from the world.
Right, because that just sounds lonely and kind of depressing.
Exactly. What Kryon meant by detachment was more about releasing our attachment to things that no longer serve us. Things like material possessions, outdated beliefs, and unhealthy relationships.
So it's about creating space for something new to emerge.
Precisely. It's about letting go of the old so that we can embrace the new.
That's a powerful thought. But letting go can be scary. What did Kryon suggest for those of us who struggle with letting go?
He encouraged us to focus on the freedom that comes with detachment. He said that when we cling to things, we create suffering for ourselves. But when we let go, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and a deeper sense of peace and joy.
So it's about trusting that something better is waiting for us on the other side of letting go.
Exactly. And he also reminded us that we don't have to do it alone. We can call upon our spiritual support team, our guides, and our angels to help us through the process.
Oh, yes. Tapping into that divine support system. Okay, so we've talked about connecting with our higher selves, cultivating Christ, Consciousness, strengthening our connection to the electromagnetic grid, embracing unity and teamwork, and working on detachment. Is there anything else that stands out to you from Kryon's teachings?
He also offered some practical advice for supporting our physical bodies during these times of intense energetic shifts.
Yes, we talked about that briefly earlier. What kind of things did he recommend?
He emphasized the importance of maintaining a healthy diet, getting regular exercise, and spending time in nature. He also suggested exploring the use of tools like crystals and magnets to help balance our energy and promote healing.
So it's about taking a holistic approach to well-being, nourishing our bodies, minds, and spirits.
Exactly. And he also encouraged people to pay attention to their intuition when it comes to their health. He said that our bodies are constantly sending us signals, and if we learn to listen, we can make choices that support our overall well-being.
That's a great reminder. Sometimes we get so caught up in the shoulds and shouldn'ts of health that we forget to listen to our own inner wisdom.
Exactly. And Kryon believed that we each have a unique path to wellness and that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
So it's about tuning in and trusting our own inner guidance system. Okay, this has been an incredible deep dive into Kryon's teachings so far. He covered so much ground. We've talked about strengthening our connection to the electromagnetic grid, living in the now, embracing change, connecting with the Christ thing. Consciousness, choosing certainty over fear, working on detachment, using visualization and meditation, acting from the heart, strengthening our connection to our inner divinity, opening our hearts to unconditional love, fostering unity and teamwork, accepting the inevitability of change, taking personal responsibility, trusting the process, caring for our physical bodies, using tools like crystals and magnets, connecting with nature, connecting with our higher selves, releasing fear and limiting beliefs, and trusting our intuition. And I know there's still more to come. We've only just scratched the surface of his wisdom. What else did Kryon emphasize?
Yeah, there's a lot we haven't even touched on yet.
It's like he's offering a whole toolkit for navigating these wild times we're living in.
He is. It's really impressive.
And it's amazing how he weaves together all these different threads, spirituality, personal growth, energy work, even practical advice for daily living. It's a lot to take in,
Yeah.
but I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
I think that's the beauty of Kryon's teachings. He offers a holistic perspective, recognizing that we are multidimensional beings.
Okay.
And that true transformation happens on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
I love that. So what other gems did Kryon offer in his teachings? What else can we add to our toolkit for navigating these times?
Well, he talked a lot about the importance of following primordial teachings,
Great.
drawing wisdom from ancient spiritual traditions and the great masters who have walked the path before us.
Oh, yes. Tapping into that ancient wisdom lineage.
Yeah.
Did he mention any specific teachers or texts?
He specifically mentioned A Course in Miracles, suggesting that its teachings could be particularly helpful for personal transformation and spiritual awakening.
Course in Miracles, that's a classic.
It is.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually read it. What's it all about?
It's a profound text that explores themes of forgiveness, love, and the illusion of separation. It offers a path to inner peace and spiritual enlightenment. Kryon seemed to believe that its teachings align beautifully with his own message of unity, love, and the power of the human spirit.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. Might have to add that to my reading list.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got ancient wisdom, personal growth practices, energy work, and practical advice for daily living. Anything else?
One more thing that stands out is Kryon's emphasis on living in the present moment. He actually called it living in the Aquí el Ahora.
Aquí ahora.
The here and now.
Ah, yes, the power of now. We touched on that earlier.
Did.
But I'm curious to know more about how Kryon viewed the present moment.
He believed that the present moment is the only moment that truly exists.
Okay.
He said that the past is gone
Right.
and the future is not yet here.
Okay.
All we have is this moment right now.
So it's about letting go of regrets about the past and worries about the future and simply focusing on the present moment.
Exactly. He believed that when we're fully present, we tap into a source of power and peace that is always available to us.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When we're dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, we're essentially giving our power away.
Right.
But when we're present, we're fully engaged with life and we can access our intuition, our creativity, and our inner strength.
Precisely, Kryon saw the present moment as a portal to our true selves,
Okay,
a place where we can connect with our divinity and experience the fullness of life.
that's beautiful. It's a reminder that we don't have to wait for some future moment to be happy or fulfilled. We can choose to experience joy and peace right now in this very moment.
Exactly. And Kryon believed that By choosing to live in the present moment, we not only transform our own lives, but we also contribute to the creation of a more peaceful and harmonious world.
Wow, that's powerful. So it's not just about personal well-being, but about collective transformation as well.
Absolutely. Kryon saw a clear link between individual consciousness and collective consciousness. He believed that as more and more individuals awaken to their true nature and choose to live in the present moment, we create a ripple effect that can uplift the entire planet.
That's a beautiful vision. So it's like we're all part of a grand symphony, and each of us has a unique part to play in creating a harmonious masterpiece.
I love that analogy. It's a beautiful way to describe the interconnectedness of all things.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the teachings of Master Kryon.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from the electromagnetic grid to Christ consciousness,
We have.
from ancient wisdom to the power of the present moment. His teachings are so rich and multifaceted. I feel like we could talk about this for hours.
Me too.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what key takeaways do you hope our listener will remember?
I think Kryon's core message is one of hope, empowerment, and love.
Oh,
He reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance, but powerful co-creators of our reality.
right.
He encourages us to embrace our divinity, to step into our power, and to choose love in every moment.
That's beautifully said.
Yeah.
And it's a message that resonates deeply with me. I think we all have the potential to be agents of positive change in the world. And Kryon's teachings offer a roadmap for how to do that.
Absolutely. He offers practical tools, spiritual insights, and a profound vision for a more loving and harmonious future.
Well, this has been an inspiring and enlightening journey into the wisdom of Maestro Kryon. I hope our listener feels empowered to explore these teachings further and to discover how they can apply them in their own life.
I hope so too. It's been a real pleasure diving into this with you.
Likewise. And to our listener, we encourage you to keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep choosing love. Until next time, may your journey be filled with joy, purpose, and wonder.